45 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio. You are listening to us live from the old Paulding County Jail. With me as your host, Shelley Robertson, and joining me is Kristen Boyd. If you missed the first part of our show, have no fear. You can listen to our show archive at your leisure at Spreaker, iTunes, and Google Play. We will post the archives on our Ghost Talk Radio Facebook page as well. Just go to Facebook and use the search feature. Type in Ghost Talk Radio and we'll pop right up. And we were talking about, prior to break, the Sultan's Palace. So let's talk about the hauntings of the palace. What do they find going on there?
Well, now the Sultan's Palace, it's actually a huge tourist attraction.
Oh, obviously.
With an array of activity. So dark shadows are seen lurking in the corners of rooms. Items come up missing, especially keys. Now, that sounds familiar.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And there was a resident that seen his dog shoved down a flight of stairs by an unseen force, to which the dog then refused to return into the home.
Oh, horrifying. Poor Pooch.
So reports of other spirits have also been seen. A Confederate soldier in full uniform has been witnessed, along with the spirit of a woman that wanders around the mansion.
And you know, it's kind of funny because New Orleans is like a mecca of paranormal activity, you know?
Loaded with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now there's another interesting one. Why don't you tell us about the next one, Kristen?
Well, the next one is located in Holcomb, Kansas. And Herb Clutter and his family were subject to a horrific crime that took all their lives in November of 1959.
Ah.
Two men, Richard Hickok and Perry Smith, were parolees who had heard from a one-time fellow inmate that the Clutter family was wealthy and kept a lot of money within their home. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Now, upon their raid, Hickok and Smith only found $50 in cash.
Oh, how horrible.
Well, in a rage, they slit Herb's throat and shot him in the head. His wife, Bonnie, 16-year-old daughter, Nancy, and 15-year-old son, Kenyon, were also shot in the head and killed.
Ugh.
Now, 6 weeks after the murders, Richard and Perry were arrested due to a jailhouse snitch. They were both eventually hung on April 14, 1965. This murder intrigued writer Truman Capote, who spent 6 years researching the details of the crime and creating the nonfiction book In Cold Blood, which became a major motion picture in 1967.
You know what? I think I have heard of that show.
I know I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I have heard of it.
Yeah.
So as for hauntings, some say the ghost of Nancy Clutter, Herb's popular teenage daughter, still walks the halls of the home at night. She is the most reported apparition in this home.
That is very fascinating. Which brings us to the next one. And also, there's lots of hauntings here as well. And probably because lots of accidents, death and mayhem and murders. This is called the Murder House. And it's in Chicago. You know, with the mob and everything, I think lots of stories come out of Chicago. Mm-hmm. In 1887 in Chicago, Illinois, the Murder House, it was known at the time as the H.H. Holmes House. It was created, owned, and operated by Henry H. Holmes. Holmes himself is considered America's first serial killer and even perhaps one of the most twisted men in history. It began with Holmes purchasing an old pharmacy and all the floors above it with the plans of turning it into an elaborate hotel. The construction was planned perfectly. It was finished just in time for one of the biggest tourist attractions in the history of America, and that was the Chicago World Fair. The H.H. Holmes House, however, was no normal hotel. It was designed to stop people from ever leaving the building, riddled with secret passages and designed in a way that would confuse fleeing guests. Now, needless to say, hundreds of people were reported to have been murdered in oh my gosh, some of the most horrific ways within this building. Holmes even had constructed a giant safe to slowly suffocate his victims. Now, the bedrooms were constructed to be soundproof or equipped with gas lines. The doors were equipped with alarms so that he could keep track of their every move. He himself would strangle, asphyxiate, hang, gas, starve, suffocate, or stab his victims. Their bodies were then sent down a dummy elevator or dropped down a laundry chute, both of which went straight to the basement, okay?
He's definitely crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Now, eventually, Holmes was caught due to another murder unrelated to his hotel. But being suspicious, the police investigated the hotel to uncover all the horrors within. On May 7th, 1896, he was hung for his crimes. However, his neck did not snap, and it took a full 20 minutes for him to actually die.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that would be horrific to watch somebody hanging there struggling.
I would say that's karma for him, though, in the end.
Yes, yes. Now, the murder castle did not stand long after Holmes' death. A mysterious fire broke out and burnt it down. However, the basement where Holmes conducted all of his experiments and dumped all of the corpses, it remained. The secret chutes and tunnels leading down to the basement also survived the fire. Now today, they also call it the Murder Castle. It's now a post office. However, the remnants of the past terrors still reside within the basement walls. Workers say that when they are in the basement, they have feelings of dread and unease, and the terror never leaves them. They have witnessed a large black shadow that terrifies people, and they feel it is responsible for all the darker activities that takes place down there. Some think this black shadow is Holmes himself. Moans and cries are heard as well, but not just within the basement, but from also outside too. Cold spots and noises such as bangings are also common occurrences.
Well, next up is the Crasher Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ironically, it's located in Arthur Kill Road in Staten Island, New York.
Kill Road, yeah.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this mansion was one of two constructed for the sons of a wealthy brick manufacturer, Balthasar Crasher, in 1885. Now, after their father's death, the son that inherited the father's business, Edward, became distraught when the business faced a fire and, once rebuilt, could not regain ground with the industry and ended up committing suicide by shooting himself in the head within his own mansion.
Horrible.
But later the mansion became a restaurant, but closed down not long after. Then in 2005, the house was guarded by a hired caretaker, Joseph Young. Joseph was offered $8,000 by the Bonanno crime family to brutally murder an enemy on the grounds of the Crasher Mansion.
And back then, $8,000 was quite a chunk of change.
It's a chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Young initially attempted to strangle his victim, but he broke away and ran outside. He caught him, stabbed him, then drowned him in a decorative pool outside. And I've seen a picture of this decorative pool, and it is probably no more than 3 foot by 5 foot.
So it's small.
It's a small pool.
Mm-hmm.
Then he chopped them into pieces with a hacksaw and burned the remains in the mansion's furnace within the basement.
Oh, gruesome.
Young was eventually caught and convicted of the murder and received life in prison. Now, people have reported seeing an apparition of a female peering out from the windows. She is said to be the widow of the original owner, still grieving the death of her husband. Sounds of arguing and doors shutting are also reported, along with sometimes hearing the voice of a child. Now, other guests have even claimed of being touched or grabbed by some unseen entity.
And I would guess that it's probably the poor guy that was killed there.
I'm sure.
There are so many reported haunted crime scenes all across the globe. We've only been able just to barely, and I mean barely, scratch the surface of this topic tonight. There's just so many places. Now, I would like to take a moment to let everyone know what is going on and coming up for the month of August here at the Old Paulding Jail. Tomorrow night, people, get excited. August 4th, we have a Ghost Hunt Weekends ghost hunting event. Ghost Hunt Weekends is a premier ghost hunting event company with offices in the UK and is owned and operated by Chad and Stacy Morin. There are just a few remaining tickets left for this event. If you're wondering what to do this weekend, it's not too late to reserve your spot. Come and experience some of the activity we are always talking about that happens all the time here. Doors open for this event at 7 p.m. and you can even choose your own cell to spend the night if you dare. Just go to ghosthuntweekends.com and click on the Old Paulding Jail for more info and tickets. Also, the remaining event dates for this whole season is also posted and available. We have, we do have a few remaining dates available for August for private group investigations here at the jail. Those are booked directly through our website at 187pi.com. Gather up your team or your family and friends and conduct your own private investigation. We do have, not only for August, but a few dates for the remaining year. They are all posted. That's all we have available. So if you want to get a chance to get into the jail this ghost hunting season, take a look at what we have on the board. This month we have Jailbreak Code 9 escape games running as well. The theme for the month of August is Dr. Rubenstein's Human Experiments. Oh, come and experience escape games like no other. The games take place in the cell blocks. They are super fun, and proceeds go towards our restoration efforts here at the jail. Info and booking can be found at jailbreakcode9.com, and that's the number 9. Coming up this week at WBHM Digital Broadcasting, we have Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Halsworthy Mark Show with host Mark Rains. On Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Paranormal Experience Show with host Kat Hobson. I tell you what, they're both fantastic shows, and I listen to them personally. And as far as everyone tonight, I want to thank you all our listening friends out there, for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to our broadcast. I also want to thank our producer, and it's because of all of you that makes Ghost Talk Radio possible. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next week, good night.
Good night.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.